Okay, today we are going to study about the 12 rules that are provided by Azure Frank Code in 1970. So this very first slide that is showing the snap of Dr. Azure Frank Code is a great scientist working in IBM, was working in IBM when he produced a paper and in that paper he produced the rules that a DBMS should follow to be classified as fully relational database management system. So before that, other models were popular like network model or hierarchical model. But after the paper of at Azure Frank Code in 1970, uh, the shift from those models to this particular data relational database model, that shift has happened. Then thereafter, almost all the system, they are providing relational database management system, but uh, as per Dr. Code, there are 12 rules, but now these are more than 300 rules. Originally, Dr. Code provides 12 rules, and if any system follow those 12 rules, only then that system can be called as relational database management system. So what are those 12 rules we are going to cover, and we will also see how many systems uh, will cover those 12 rules, and what are the current scenario in relational database management systems. For your information, there is no system currently available in the market which can follow all the 12 rules. Not even Oracle, not even MySQL, not even MS SQL, not even any of the software, any of the database management system that is available in the market. None of the software is following this 12 rule. So, but still, if we say that if a system follows more than 6 rules, then this we can call it as a relational database management system. So let's start with these 12 rules. Let's cover. And because in our syllabus we have Oracle, so we will grade Oracle database management system on these 12 rules, and we will provide the marks. We will provide 0 marks if the rule is not followed by the Oracle. We will provide half marks if some of the criteria is followed, but and we provide full marks, 1 number, if that particular rule is followed by Oracle. So based upon this marking, we can calculate how much Oracle is following this particular relational database rules. First of all, there is rule 0. Rule 0 says that an RDBMS must be able to manage database entirely through its relational capabilities. So that is the default rule, that for any database, any relational database management system, that must be able to manage the database entirely through its relational capabilities. Relational capability means with the help of the base should be the relational mathematical relational set theory. So based upon those set theory, the database management system must be able to manage that database through those relational capabilities. Then the very first rule is called information rule. This is the actual rule. Rule 0 is not originally in any in the rules that are provided by Azure F code. This is the first rule, information rule. Information is to be represented as data stored in a cells of a table. So in other words, we can say every information should be stored in a table. So the very first rule says that because I have earlier also discussed that you can represent any relation, because relation is what? It is basically a subset of cross product of two sets. So you can represent relation with a number of data structures, and one of the most popular data structure is table. So this data structure is provided by you can say proposed by EF code, that every information must be represented as data that is stored in the cells of a table. So table data structure is proposed by and EF code, and every information should be stored in a table. So that is the very first rule, and I think almost all the relational database system, management system, they are following this particular rule. Second rule is guaranteed access rule. That means each data item must be accessible by a combination of table name. To access any item, you must know the table name, you must know the primary key, and you must know the column name. So if you know these three information, if you know these three values, then data must be accessible. Data should be visible to the users. Data, so any user can access that particular data if he knows the table name plus primary key of the row plus column name. So violation of this rule will be if there is a ability to access by using arrays or pointers, because earlier data, for example in network model or hierarchical model, we are using the pointers to access, to go from one row to another row, or from one data entity set to another data set. We are using the pointers, the concept of pointer. So that is basically the violation of this particular rule. So if you are accessing some data with the help of arrays or pointers, then you are violating this rule. So there should be only one way to access the data, and that way is that you should know the table name, primary key, and column name. So if you know that all these three values, you can access any item from that particular table. Then how does Oracle on the first 2 points? So that means Oracle, there is a data item that is called blob. Blob is binary large object. So this is B, L, and OB. So binary large object, blob. So blob is a data type in which you can store images, programs, exe files, videos, and audios. So the files that are very large in size, they can be stored with the help of blob data type. So early, what DBMS uses, they are using the technique to store and manage multimedia data types by storing them outside the database in the files, and pointers are placed in their corresponding column position. So instead of placing, because for example this is my table and I want to store the information of image at a particular column, so what I am going to store here is the path. So path is basically what? It is just the pointer to the location. So what is the path? Path is a pointer to the location. So actual file will be in a directory, and I am placing this pointer in the database that will be pointing to the image file, or similarly to some audio file or some video file. So this way of representing binary large object in database is basically the violation of the second rule. So that means implementation is transfer. Implementation is transparent to the user. That means user does not know about this thing, that database is not containing the image itself, but it is containing the path that is pointing to the image. So this information, this implementation is transparent to the user. User is not aware of this fact. User is all user knows that he is retrieving the information, he is retrieving the file from the database, but actually database contains the path and the file is contained in a folder, and this is basically the violation of second rule. So uh, we can provide the scores 1.5. One score for the first rule. First rule says that every information should be in the form of tables. That is implemented by Oracle. Second rule says that every information should be accessible only through the table name, field name, and you say primary key. So second rule is violated by the Oracle because it is not providing the way of storing large object into the database. So you can use blob. Blob is basically a data type. It is a kind of data type that is available in Oracle, but there is a limitation. So you cannot store more than 4 GB file in that particular location. So you have to, if the file size is more than 4 GB, then you have to put it into the folder, and you have to put the path in the database. So this is this way you can say Oracle is not implementing the second rule properly, so we are providing half marks here. So from the two rules, Oracle is able to achieve 1.5 marks. Then the third rule is that null must be used in a consistent manner. Consistent manner means the way the interpretation of null should be same everywhere. So null value should not match any string, character, or some numeric value. So violation is there when we use 0 as a null value. So 0 is not a null value. 0 is basically integer value. So integer is not equal to null. So null means not known. Null means it is not, we are not knowing about that particular value. So when you put 0 instead of that thing, then you are violating this particular rule. In the similar way, if you are putting some blank characters, blank character means sometimes we write like this. So this is my single quotation. So this is my blank character. So with whatever in the single quotation, that is empty character. So empty character or blank character. So if we put this value also, this is also the violation of this particular rule, because empty character, empty string, blank character or 0, all these are not the null values. And the correct way is that null simply be the missing data and have no values. So if your database management system provide the null values, provide the way to implement the null values, then it is following the third rule. Otherwise it is not following the third rule. If values are desired for missing data, vendors usually offer the ability to use default for this purpose. For example, sometimes we say that if we don't know the age, then we can write -1 in that particular field. So -1 is not a proper way of writing that particular information. So -1 is basically a integer value. So it cannot represent the unknown value of that particular field. So that kind of implementation is wrong. So null must be used in a consistent manner. That is the third rule of that is provided by CORD. And Oracle database treats a character value with a length of 0 as a null value. So Oracle provides the null value. Oracle has a special description of the null value, but along with that description, it also treats a character value with a length of 0 as null. So this is basically violation of the third rule. So apart from, although it is providing the null value, but it is also treating this thing as a null value. So as per the rule, this is the violation. And so we provide half marks here to the Oracle. So current implementation for nulls in SQL is poor for all the vendors. So it has been attacked by CORD and another relational pioneers like CJ Date. CJ Date is another scientist who is working in a relational database management system. He is very intelligent. He also has a book. So it is very popular book on relational database management system. So if you have if you get chance, then you should read that book also. Then CORD proposes 3 valued logics. CORD says for implementing null. So he proposed 3 value logic, but later on that logic is not implemented by the relational database development companies. CJ Date also proposed abolishing of null altogether. He said that null value should not be there, but instead of null value, the system should use some values that he proposes some different way of representing the null value. So so different scientists have different views on this particular topic, but as per CORD, the rule is that the null value should not match any string, any character, or any numeric value. So if your null value is matching like this, then it is violation of this particular rule. And Oracle provides null value, as well as it also treats character value with the length of 0 as a null value. So that means half points here because it is also providing the implementation of null value, but half point deducted because it is treating character value of length 0 as a null value. Then fourth rule is an active online data dictionary should be stored as relational tables and accessible through the regular data access language. So if any part of the data dictionary is stored in the operating system in the form of file, then this rule will be violated. So this rule says that data dictionary should be stored as a relational table itself and accessible through the regular data access language. So regular data access language means whatever the language that you are going to use for accessing the data. So that language is generally SQL. So as per this rule, that data dictionary should be accessible through SQL only, and it should be stored in a relational table. And if some database management system stores the data dictionary in the operating system in the form of file, then this rule will be violated. Uh, for Oracle, it stores some of the information within database, and it stores some of the information outside the DBMS system also. So that's why we provide half marks here only, because it implement this rule partially. Some of the information is available in database itself, but some of the information is stored outside the DBMS. So then again, fifth point is that data access language must provide all means of access and be the only mean of access. First of all, a data access language, for example SQL, must provide all means of access. So it should have all the way of accessing the data. And second point, very important, be the only mean of access. So there should be no other mean of accessing the database. So except possibly for some low level access routines, except these routines, all the data access must be accessed by the database access language that is provided by database management system, and there should be no other way to access that data. So if you could access the file supporting tables through the utility other than SQL interface, then this is the violation of this particular rule. So for rule 5, we are providing 1 marks because Oracle provide full support. Oracle provide a language PL SQL, that is the language called PL oblique SQL, programming language, structured query language. So PLSQL is a part of Oracle, and you can access the data with this particular language, and it is the only way of accessing the data in Oracle. So we will provide 1 mark here for rule 5. Then for rule 6, all views that may be updatable should be updatable. For example, if you could join 3 tables as a basis for a view, but not be able to update that view, then this rule would be violated. For example, now I am showing you 3 tables. So I am creating a view. Suppose I am creating a view by joining 2 tables. So I have a table 1 and I have a table 2, and joining two tables means I am getting column 1, column 2 and column 3. Suppose these are the name of column, and here we can call it suppose I am giving name B1, B2 and B3. So if I create a view by combining column 1, column 3, B1 and B3, B2 suppose. Okay, so these two values are coming from this table, and these two values are coming from this table. So this is the view, this is my view for a particular user, that is that consists of the values from two different tables. So if I want to update this view, that means whatever the values appearing here, if I change those values should also be changed at this particular underlying table. So whatever I change here, that change should be reflected here also. If it is possible, that means all views that may be updatable should be updatable. But if the system does not allow you to change the view, does not update the underlying table when you change the view, then this rule will be violated. If for example you could join 3 table as the basis for a view, so instead of joining 2 table, I can join the 3 tables also, I can join the 4 tables also. So I can extract 2 column from first table, I can extract 1 column from second table, I can extract the 3 column for third table, and so on. So if I update the view, and that update is not passed to the underlying table, then this rule will be violated. And in Oracle, now what is happening in Oracle? So we are providing half marks here because Oracle provide partial updation. So if we are creating a view only from single table, so instead of creating a view that is from two different tables, I can also create a view that is from only single table. So because I can create a view that contain only C1 and C3 column, and I can leave all other columns. So if I change something here in this particular view, that change can also be passed to the underlying table. In Oracle, Oracle provides the provision to update the underlying table if you update the view, and with condition. Condition की है कि that means we can update only those views which are created from a single table, and they are you cannot update view if it contain any of the following construct. It contains some set operation like union, intersection, or subtraction, or Cartesian product. If the view is consisting of by performing these operations, then that view cannot be updated. If you are using distinct operator in a query, and you are creating the view using distinct operators, then again those views cannot be updated. So aggregation or analytical function, if you are using those function like group by, order by, sum, maximum, minimum, all these are the aggregation functions. And if you are performing you are creating the view using aggregation function, or using group by or order by clause, or collection expression in a select list, or a subquery in a select list, if you are using any of these for creating the view, then those views are not updatable. Oracle will not allow you to update those views. So we are providing half marks here because that rule is not fully implemented in Oracle. So as per ideal situation, every view should be updatable, but Oracle provides only updation to the views that are created from the single table. But if any of these constructs are used for creating the views, then you cannot update the view. Then the seventh rule, there must be set level, insert, updates, and deletes operation. So currently this is provided by most of the RDBMS vendors to some degree, that every RDBMS software provide the option for insertion, updation, and deletion at the set level. That means a full set of values can be inserted at the one time, at the one step. Similarly, full set of values can be deleted or can be updated at the one step. So this particular provision, this particular facility is provided by almost all the vendors, all the software. So Oracle also provide this. So we provide full marks for this particular rule. Then the physical data independence. Its rule is physical data independence, that we have already discussed, that any change at the physical level must not affect the higher level. So that is physical data independence. So an application cannot depend on the physical restructuring. So if somehow physical restructuring is required, that change should not affect the application. So if a file supporting table was moved from one disk to another disk, or renamed, then this should not have impact on the application. So that is physical data independence. And Oracle provide physical data independence. It is fully comply with this particular rule. So we are providing 1 mark here to the Oracle. Similarly, we have logical data independence. Ninth rule say that there should be logical data independence. That means the external view should not be affected by the change in any conceptual view. So how a user view data should not be changed when the logical structure of the database changes. So this rule is particularly difficult to satisfy, but most of the database rely on strong ties between the user view of the data and the actual structure of the underlying table. But still Oracle manages to implement this particular rule. So we will provide 1 marks to Oracle for this particular rule also. Then the 10th rule is integrity independence. Integrity independence means the rule should be stored in the data dictionary, all the integrity rules. So there are different kind of entity and integrity rule, like entity integrity, key integrity, foreign key integrity. So all these rules should be stored in data dictionary. That is your 10th rule. So primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, check constraint, triggers, so forth, all should be stored in the data dictionary. And again, Oracle is storing all this thing in the data dictionary. So we are providing 1 mark here for the 10th rule also. Then distribution dependence, again, it is basically the extension of physical data independence. What is physical data independence? That any change in the location. So physical data independence means we are talking about the change in location on the same system, but change of location can be on the network also. So database should continue to work properly even if it is distributed. Distributed means it is distributed over the network. So some part of the database is at location 1, some another part is at location 2, another part is at location 3. So if it is distributed over network, then also it should continue to work properly. So physical data independence, we are talking about distribution over a single system, that is local distribution. And distribution dependence means we are talking about data distribution over the network. So database may also be distributed across the network of system, that is remote database. So if it is distribution dependence means database should not be and a user application should not be affected by this particular organization of the database. So for 11th rule, we are providing half marks to Oracle because Oracle does offer the database links, snapshots, metrical replication. Distributed database is also there with two-phase commit protocol. But some of the networking is user apparent. That two-phase protocol, 2PC works but not well, and replication has its own some problem. So it is not fully compliant, fully distributed, you can say. So we are providing half marks here for the Oracle database. Finally, we have 12th rule, that is non-subversion rule. So if low level access is allowed, it must not bypass security nor integrity rules. So that is again one of the important point. Sometimes we need to allow the low level access to the system. For example, for taking the backup, if we want to take the fast backup or for some recovery process, the modules should be allowed to access the database. But when this kind of access is allowed, it must not bypass the security or integrity rules. Whatever the security rule or integrity rule that are implemented, that are imposed by the database management system, those application, those programs should not be allowed to bypass all those rules, and which would otherwise be obeyed by the regular data access language. So whatever the rule that are followed by regular data access language like SQL, those rules, those integrities, those security options, they also should be followed by low level access programs. Example is a backup or load utility, for example, should not be able to bypass the authentication constraints and whatever the locking mechanism that is being used. So however, vendors often provide these abilities for the sake of speed. Sometimes database is so large that we want to speed up the backup process, and vendors, what they are doing, they are providing the low level access to the modules that are taking those backups or recovery process, and they can directly access the database. Then it is the responsibility of DBA. At that time, it is the responsibility of DBA, mean database administrator. Then it is the responsibility of database administrator to ensure that security and integrity, if momentarily compromised, are reinstated. As an example is disabling and re-enabling the constraint for a very large database load. So if we have a very large database load and we want to take a backup, for example, then what DBA will do, he will momentarily remove all the restrictions, then take the backup, and then again apply all the restrictions. So whatever the restriction that are momentarily compromised, they must be reinstated, and this is the responsibility of DBA at that time. So non-subversion rule means that there should be a no subversion module, no subversion language. Only there should be only one language that should be allowed to use the database access. But if you are using some other program to and allow those low level programs to use the database, then it is the violation of this particular rule. So for rule 12, we are providing 0 marks to Oracle because through some of its utilities such as SQL Star Loader and import, these are the two utilities of Oracle itself. They are allowed, Oracle allows the data to be stored in the database by bypassing the standard SQL route and opening up the database to some potential corruption. So if these modules are not able to run accurately at some point of time, then data may get corrupted. So we are providing 0 marks here for this particular rule because Oracle is not following this particular rule. It provides a low level utility that can access the data directly without and it is bypassing all the locking mechanism, all the security constraint, all the rules. So we are providing 0 marks for this particular rule. So if you calculate, if you sum up all the marks, you can find that only Oracle is able to get only 8.5 marks out of the 12 marks. So the fact is that Oracle does not meet all of the code 12 rule. Neither does Sybase, nor Informax, nor MySQL, nor MS SQL. Even there is not a single database management system that is following all of the rule. Some database system follow 8 rules, some follow 9 rule. Maximum is Oracle, the current version of Oracle, I think it is following up to 10 rules. And it is RDBMS. Oracle, still we are calling Oracle as a RDBMS because Oracle and its competitor have more work to do, and Oracle 7 and above are fully past the 10 rules. Null value handling, view updations are still pending. So we cannot provide the full marks to Oracle also. Still, because as I have earlier said that if RDBMS system follow more than 6 rules, then we can say that it is a relational database management system. So there is finally again coming back to 0 rule. For a system to qualify as a RDBMS, that system must use its relational facilities exclusively to manage the database. So it meet all the fundamental discussed in the relational database chapter and these 12 rules, then database may be designated as a relational database. In practice, if some system follows at least 6 rules, that system can be termed as RDBMS. So that is the relaxation that can be given to the system, that at least those system must follow 6 rules. If more than 6, then well and good, then at least 6 rules should be followed to be called it as a relational database management system.